Individual education is a school system rooted in the individual psychology of Alfred Adler, designed by Raymond Corsini. The individual education program includes a number of basic principles. The program consists of three components: academic, creative, applied, socialization. Corsini also outlined disciplinary procedures and a number of other principles to ensure the most productive possible school environment. Differences between traditional education, autocratic model, and individual education, democratic model of education. Basic principles. The following are the basic principles of the individual education school system. Children can veto their attendance in a class. Children are not in a competition or race. They only compete against themselves. Children decide if and when to study, and there is no homework unless the child asks for it. Children can learn in whatever fashion works for them. Feedback regarding the learning is given to children as soon as possible. Every child has a teacher, advisor, and in-school parent figure who the child chooses. There are only 3 rules. They are impartially and strictly enforced. Children have the opportunity to develop special talents if they wish. Children are offered a wide range of creative, applied courses. Learning is considered a privilege, not an obligation. Teachers have the right to ask a child to leave a classroom or to stay out of their classroom. The school day is divided roughly equally between academic, creative, applied, and socialization. All evaluations are objective, not subjective. Idiosyncratic classroom rules may be established by the teacher for their class, so long as they don't violate individual education principles. The go and stop signals are the only means of enforcing rules in the classroom. Peer teaching is encouraged. Academic progress reports are kept on children, but grades are not given out. An individualized pace of learning is encouraged. Teachers are responsible for teaching. Children are responsible for learning. The emphasis is on the development of a successful person. Community resources are accessed where possible. Children may be advised to study at the growing edge of their abilities, but the level at which they study is no one's choice but theirs. Faculty has 3 jobs: academic teaching, creative, applied teaching, and socialization training, advising. Regular full classroom meetings are mandatory. Rewards, honors, and other extraneous motivators should be avoided. Criticisms, warnings, or various other forms of punishment are strictly forbidden. The school operates on the basis of natural and logical consequences, using encouragement and intrinsic joy from skill mastery as the primary motivators for learning. Children have the right to go to any other classroom, a supervised library, or study hall. On any given day, children can choose not to learn. Teachers have full freedom in teaching the curriculum, but cannot force children to follow it. The 4 R's: responsibility, respect, resourcefulness, responsiveness. Responsibility equals. A primary goal of individual education is to make children self-sufficient, giving them the means to become a productive member of society, to become mature and self-reliant. Individual education is against the infantilization of the child. Instead, individual education maximizes the child's self-determination. Respect equals. Individual education is designed to develop in children feeling of respect of the self and of others. Traditional school systems make children feel inferior and make many of them feel unsuccessful. A system based on rewards and punishment, praise and disapproval, is considered morally bankrupt in the individual education system. Some children are not born into environments conducive to academics. Some children have strengths not visible in a traditional system. Any system that insults these children is wrong. Resourcefulness equals. Every child has innate talents, and some strengths and weaknesses. whatever resources the child has. Individual education permits expression, whether academic or non-academic. If little Michelangelo wants to paint, let him. If he therefore never learns how to solve square roots, so be it. If little Willie Gates doesn't want to leave his computer alone, let him. If he therefore never reads Shakespeare, so be it. As long as Michelangelo can do basic math, and Willie can read well, that is enough. For others, a broader program will be necessary. The child will determine the program that best suits him, her. The curriculum will be there when she needs it. The teacher will encourage learning of all types of academe, but will not force it. Responsiveness equals the concept of social interest. Gemeinschaftsgefühl in Adlerian theory is central to individual education. It means responding to the needs of others. It can be seen in school spirit, patriotism, love for family, or elsewhere. This is critical to a child becoming a productive and happy member of society. This goal is not achieved directly, but rather through the achievement of the first 3 rupees. Academic program. The curriculum in the academic component is similar to that in the traditional system. Language, mathematics, history, geography and science are developed along the mastery model, through a skills list through which children progress from the beginning of school to the end. Children are tested weekly on average, but it is the children who request to be tested. Teachers cannot demand that tests be written. Instead, a progress chart shows how far along the child is. 80% is considered mastery. The child doesn't have to learn what she has already learned. If the child can pass a test without attending class, the progress chart is marked identically to that of a child that attended hours of classroom study. A quick learner is offered the next level of curriculum and the opportunity to tutor others. No numerical or letter-based grading system is used. Creative, applied courses. These courses can be offered in 6 to 8 week blocks. 1 to 3 can be chosen out of 9 to 12 courses offered. Included are topics students want to learn but do not find in traditional curriculum. They usually involve some physical activities, e.g., soccer, some artistic ones, visual arts, and some applied. Horticulture. Teachers offer courses in areas of their interest. Community resources are used where possible. Socialization aspect. Teachers socialize children through their positions as teachers and advisors. Children can choose their advisor, though the teacher can choose whether to accept that student. The advisor is an equal to the child in this environment, unlike during the academic program, and can only enforce the first school rule related to dangerous behavior. See below. They meet as a group. The advisor with all children who have chosen him or her, or in the absence of a decision by the child. The child is assigned an advisor. Among other things, students learn about problem solving, health maintenance, interpersonal communications and purpose in life. The advisor supervises homeroom, which occurs at the beginning and end of the day and is unstructured. At least once a week and sometimes every day. The advisor holds a class meeting during which time the children discuss their various concerns. Rules regarding homeroom and class meetings can only be decided democratically. The teacher can suggest rules but the children decide by a vote. The advisor is also the liaison between the child and other teachers with whom there may be difficulties, and can act as a mediator. The advisor also liaises with the child's parents but only on rare occasions and only with the child's consent. The child should always be in the room during such discussions if possible. The socialization program includes playtime for younger children. Other teachers are also free to discuss social matters with children. As equals. Disciplinary procedure. Individual education schools have only 3 school rules. Never do anything that could be dangerous, damaging or harmful to yourself or others, or property. Be in a supervised place or en route to a supervised place. If a teacher gives you the go signal, leave the room immediately and silently and without distracting the others. There are no exceptions to these rules. Violation of one of these rules means the child is given a violation slip which they take to the office to have recorded. Teachers can establish idiosyncratic classrooms, but they cannot violate the 3 rules above. Because there are so few rules, teachers must ensure that they are strictly enforced. These rules are largely based on the discipline concepts of Rudolf Drakeur's. Drakeur's concept of logical consequences is particularly useful in understanding the individual education disciplinary procedure. Go and stop. The go signal is a gesture towards the door. A teacher may quietly say the child's name and make the gesture. The child must then leave the classroom immediately and silently without disruption to others. The child then has a few options. Go to another class. Go to the study hall. Go to the library. Seek to re-enter the classroom. The child can return to the classroom but may be given the stop signal at that time, which means the child must go to another option. The stop signal is a hand held face up in the direction of the child entering. Teachers should not keep track of the number of times they give out the go and stop signals. They have no meaning in terms of the child's progress in school, and should carry no social consequences. A teacher must not warn the child of an impending go signal, nor intimidate the child by standing close to them or giving them negative looks. There is no use in intimidating the child, who will rebel against such an attempt. Consequences of violations. For each violation there is a consequence. If the ultimate consequence of expulsion is applied, it should include a referral to other professional help. Findings. Research articles have indicated the following findings. Students' scores on standardized achievement tests typically exceed national averages. Yearly academic gains are similar. Several schools that were initially low in district academic rank made impressive gains in rank. This is in spite of only half the amount of academic instructional time being spent in individual education schools compared to the traditional system. There are far less disciplinary problems in individual education schools. In many cases, 100% of teachers surveyed in a school have said that they prefer teaching in an individual education school rather than in a traditional one. The main comment is that teachers can put their energies into teaching. Parents endorse the system. History and present status of individual education. Raymond Corsini recognized in the late 1960s that adults were mistakenly blaming children for their poor behavior and grades in school when the problems were promoted by the school system in which the children operated. Corsini argued that the traditional system of education was fundamentally undemocratic. Children were sentenced to attend an institution where they had no choice of teacher or level of study, and minimal choice in terms of subjects, places or means of study. He set out to design a school system in which respect would be a central principle. Research by Paul Clark confirmed that individual education is an effective method of encouraging learning. In the 1980s and 1990s, there were a dozen individual education schools operating in North America and Europe, including Hawaii, Illinois, Colorado, British Columbia and the Netherlands. One school, the Blooming Grove Academy, operated in Bloomington, Illinois from 1986 until 2011. Forest Park I, E. K5, and Hufford I, E. 628, both in Joliet, Eel, continue to operate using the Corsini system. The original individual education school Hoala School in Wahiawa, Hawaii, continues to be in operation for kindergarten to grade 12. Da Vinci Charter School closed down in February 2013. http www.joliet86.org. Our Schools, Forest Park.